Hey guys, what is up? In this video I'm going to be covering a Kumena Tyrant of Orazca Merfolk tribal deck. So Kumena is a Simic 3 mana Merfolk Shaman that has a 2 power and toughness 2 and 4. He reads tap another untapped Merfolk you control. Kumena Tyrant of Orazca can't be blocked this turn. He also has the ability to tap 3 untapped Merfolk to draw a card. And then for 5, if you tap 5 untapped Merfolk, you may put a +1/+1 counter on each Merfolk you control. So this deck uses a lot of Merfolk to gain value, make Kumena unblockable, or draw cards through untapping 3 Merfolk repeatedly. And there's some other spicy cards in the deck that I included too. So yeah, let's get into it. I'm just gonna start off this video with a bang. The game-winning combo in this deck, paired with another card, is Kumena, Intruder Alarm, and Deeproot Pilgrimage. So Kumena reads, you may basically you tap Merfolk through Kumena, 3 to draw a card, or just 1 to create to make him unblockable. Deeproot Pilgrimage, whenever one or more non-token Merfolk controls become tapped, create a 1/1 blue Merfolk creature token with hexproof. And then because a creature enters the battlefield, you untap all creatures. But creatures don't untap during their controller's untap steps. But because you tap a Merfolk and you create a Merfolk through Deeproot Pilgrimage, you can loop this to draw your entire deck or just to create a Merfolk army. And then you can tap 5 untapped Merfolk to put a counter on each creature. But I also want to just get to the ramp that we decided to use in this deck. Because it's 2 colors, we opted for low mana cost mana rocks that tap for either blue or green. Flower Stone taps for a color of any color opponent's land could produce. We have Prismatic Lens, which just taps for 1. We have Moss Diamond. It comes in tap but taps for green, and we also have Sky Diamond, comes in tap but taps for blue. Then we have Arcane Signet, which taps for any color of your commander's identity. We have Hedron Archive that costs 4 but taps for 2. We have Commander Sphere that taps for any color of your commander's identity. And we also have Mind Stone. You can tap 1 to sacrifice it to also draw a card. And then all the reliable Soul Ring, which costs 1 and taps for 2. We have Simmet Signet, which costs 2, and for 1 mana you can fold it into green and blue. And we also have Talisman of Curiosity. Then some of the Merfolk I added to this deck is Emperor Mihail II, Wake Thrasher, Master of the Pearl Trident, and Kopala, Warden of Waves. Master of the Pearl Trident acts as a Merfolk Lord and gives all my Merfolk Island Walk. And we also have Kopala, which forces the opponent to pay mana when he wants to target my Merfolk. Then we have Meadow Reachery, Sphealun of the Sea and Sky, and we have Merfolk Mistbinder, and then also Deeproot Elite. Then this deck is also running Mistcloak Herald, Dishana Voice of Thunder, Palisage, and Tideshaper. This deck also runs Tempest Caller, Swift Warden, and Kosi's Trickster. Kosi's Trickster is quite interesting. Whenever an opponent shuffles his or library, you may put a +1/+1 counter on Kosi's Trickster. And Swift Warden is a 3 mana Merfolk that has Flash, and it gives a Merfolk hexproof when it enters the battlefield until end of turn. The counter magic that I opted to add to this deck is Censor, which you can cycle to draw a card. We have Dispel, Counterspell, and then something interesting in semi-color. We have Void Slime. It counters target spell, activated ability, or triggered ability, which is quite cool. Then we also have Sinister Sabotage, Airtight Scorn, Whirlwind Denial, and Negate, which are all just very reliable. Then we are going to get into ways to protect your combo. And other than counter magic, we have Swiftfoot Boots, which gives the equipped creature hexproof and haste. We have Mizzium Skin, which gives the target creature +0/+1 and hexproof. And you can also cast it for its overload cost to change target to each. And then we have Dive Down, which just gives a target creature +0/+3 and hexproof. Then another combo that the colors of this deck allowed was an infinite mana combo through Peregrine Drake and Derai Navigator. And then to use that mana into a mana sink, we have Spectral Sailor, which for 4 mana allows you to draw a card, and then that will help you draw into your win condition. And as I've mentioned before, we have a very solid win condition through Laboratory Maniac. Laboratory Maniac is a 3 mana human wizard that reads, if you draw a card while your library has no cards in it, you win the game. So with Deeproot Pilgrimage and Intruder Alarm, with this on a battlefield, if you opt to draw through Kumena by tapping 3 Merfolk, you will draw into an empty library and then you will win the game. And then the second infinite mana combo in this deck is Incubation Druid and Freed from the Real. So if Incubation Druid has a counter on, he taps for 3 mana, and Freed from the Real for 1 blue allows you to untap Incubation Druid if it's attached, and that way you can tap it for 3 mana, untap it for 1, netting you 2 mana each time you tap Incubation Druid. And this can be used again to play Spectral Sailor, draw your entire deck, play Laboratory Maniac, and then win the game. And getting to the last few parts of the video, we decided on some utility cards like Unravel the Aether, which gets rid of indestructible artifacts or enchantments. You have Close and Grip, which has split second, so you cannot react or counter it, but it destroys target artifact or enchantment. We have Abundance, helps you get non-land or land cards every time you draw. Then we also have Mercfiend's Leech, which is a 5 mana 4/4 harder that reads, other green creatures you control get +1/+1, other blue creatures you control get +1/+1. But most importantly, you untap all green and blue creatures during you control during each other player's untap step. So if you have Kumena on the battlefield, you can tap 3 Merfolk, draw a card, and then untap on each other player's untap step, which is quite cool. Then we have Displace, Uncage the Menagerie, Grove Spiral, and Lifecrafter's Bestiary. Displace is used to flicker or blink creatures, either to protect them or to net value. We have Uncage the Menagerie, which lets you search the library for up to X creature cards with different names that each have converted mana cost 3, reveal them, put them in your hand, then shuffle the library. We have a Grove Spiral, which will draw you a card and you may put the land card from your hand onto the battlefield. And then we have Lifecrafter's Bestiary, which allows you to draw a card if you pay green every time you cast a creature spell. We have Unsummon, that returns any creature to its owner's hand. It can even be used on your creatures to save them from removal. We have Divination, which for 3 mana you can just draw a card. Draw 2 cards, I mean. We have Opt, which allows you to scry 1 and then draw a card. And we also have Shared Summons. For 5 mana you may search your library for 2 cards with different names, put them in your hand, then shuffle your library. This can be used to tutor for any good creatures that will help you, or like lords, or if need be, you can get Tide Shepherd and turn the land into an island for Island Walk. And there's a lot of stuff that you can tutor with with this. Then we have Scour All Possibilities, which allows you to scry 2 and draw a card for 2 mana. You can always also cast it at its flashback cost for 5 mana. We have Memory Deluge, which is a 4 mana instant. It reads, look at the top X cards of your library where X is the amount of mana spent to cast the spell. Put 2 of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. And it also has flashback for 7. We also have Dig Through Time, which is a 8 mana instant but also has Delve. It reads, look at the top 7 cards of your library, put 2 of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. This will help you dig for combo pieces and allow you to put 2 of them into your hand. Last but not least, we have Verity Circle, which is a 3 mana enchantment that allows you to draw a card if a creature is declared is tapped but it's not declared as an attacker. We also have Omen of the Sea, which is a 2 mana enchantment that when it enters, you scry 2 and draw a card. It can also be sacrificed to scry 2. And then a very good include in this deck is Jianggu Wildcrafter. It reads, it's a 3-mana planeswalker, but it reads, each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it has add 1 mana of any, if you tap it and then add 1 mana of any color. So with Deeproot Pilgrimage and Intruder Alarm, if you tap your creatures for mana, they untap. This can also net you infinite mana if you create a token, like a Merfolk each time it's tapped, netting you infinite mana if it has a counter on, and that you can use to like just sink that into an infinite mana outlet and potentially win the game. But thanks so much for watching, guys. This is my Kumena Tyrant of Orazca $50 deck video. See you guys in the next one. Stay safe and enjoy.